G'day everyone, and a very warm welcome to you wherever you're watching around the country, or indeed the world, to the final stage of the Apex Rear Wing Monaco Rally. This is the third stage, sprint on the centre of the Col de Torini. My name's Stairs. As always, for these rally live stages, joining me in the commentary box is Madbird.
Yes, indeed, Stairs, and as flashed up on your screen there for just a second, 37% of this surface is ice, so this is going to be an interesting run for our runners.
And of course, 37%, some would say Monte Carlo has an ice problem. But anyway, here's the classification after the second stage, and Xeris leading by 4.9 seconds, fairly close that one. Stairs and Kino, the only two-driver combination there, with Kino taking over, the Russians taking over from the Germans.
Absolutely, and less than a second to Madbird in the place above them, so that's quite a close battle. But of course, we've got to jump over to Robert, our resident rally expert. We have Robert. Robert, how the bloody hell are you, mate? Welcome to the last stage of Monaco. I bet you're looking forward to getting into some warmer climates.
It's been a bit of a test, I must say, but we've made it. Being based in Monaco without any accommodation has been a bit of a challenge over the last 3 months since the last stage, but regardless, we're getting there, and I'm assured that my paycheck is in the mail.
Absolutely, yeah, it's lean times. We do need to have a chat about that paycheck at some stage. But Robert, this is the iciest stage that we've been on. Who do you think is going to do well here on this stage? A lot less grip than on the other two stages, which I guess isn't saying much, but still, it's going to be a slightly trickier stage for our guys to negotiate. Who do you see coming out on top?
Half a dozen of one and 6 of the other, to be honest. I would expect it to be one of the competitors already in contention.
Fantastic. All right. Yes, sorry, I was just waiting for you to finish your thought, but then it became clear that...
Oh, yeah, no. Sorry. There you go.
Just going to say, it became clear that you had, in fact, finished your thought. It was just not a very coherent thought.
Oh, that's a bit mean.
Appreciate your input, as always. He's not, I don't think he's a very well man, to be 100% honest with you. I think that he's had I know he's had a bit of health issues in the past, Stairs, and I think that might be affecting his coherency somewhat.
He does have the best oncologist in Los Angeles, though, so we wish him well when he finally gets back there.
Absolutely. So we've got our first runner here, Goofball, ready at the top of the hill to begin his descent. That car is not looking at its best, I must say. Has taken a bit of a beating over the last two stages, Stairs.
Ex-Stairs Focus, I believe, isn't it? That he borrowed from him after the first stage, if I'm not mistaken.
Absolutely. So Stairs would probably be not wanting to associate himself too closely with this car, going by how it looks right now and the performance that is being wrung out of it, if performance is indeed the word. But nevertheless, he's managed to get around that corner without a trouble. On this sort of... okay, less so.
Well, I mean, he is making his way somewhat towards the end of the stage. And oh, goodness gracious me, that was a bit of it. The visibility, I have to say, is shocking. The snow is coming down more so than it has in the previous few stages. We had glorious sunlight, if I'm not mistaken, there as Goofball mounts the snowbank on the right-hand side of the road. So that just adds another element of challenge. Even though they've got those pace notes, it's going to be difficult to see the road.
It absolutely is, and he's bounced off the snow, and he's like, oh my goodness!
Oh, that's it. Oh, that's the end of Goofball antics. And that is Goofball out of the rally. Our first retirement. Unbelievable. Bounced off one snowbank, flew over the other one, and that is Goofball, very, very unfortunately, totaling one of Stairs' glorious fiestas.
Yeah. Focuses, yeah, that is bad luck there for the Australian. Just carried a little bit too much speed. And I must say his his co-driver Bird Willingston, very, very calm and collected, just to make the statement, radiators going, as they were flying over the cliff. Though I might suggest in future that your imminent possible horrible injury may be more important than the status of the radiator.
Yeah, Bert's a consummate professional. I spoke to him earlier today, and he wasn't really confident in his prospects. Not because of his ability, but well, we'll move on. But Securitron starting off his stage there in the AMD Ford Focus. Let's see if he can process a good result.
Absolutely. Had to sort of jump to the start line quick. Smart wasn't meant to start his stage for another minute or so, but they're very, very quick here about making sure that there's no space left on track. They want to get someone out there the second that Goofball went off, and he's sliding this around these tight little hairpins
Oh, look at that!
I believe we called Mono Man the Kathy Freeman of hairpins, but
that was Usain Bolt.
I do apologise. They're very easy to confuse. Securitron, however, is.
I won't ask you how they are easy to confuse.
Securitron currently giving him a run for his money.
Up to racist and sexist remarks, but please do continue.
No, I've run to the end, the useful end of this sentence. So you feel free to take over.
Well, we've spoken at length in previous broadcasts about the rivalry that Securitron enjoys with his North Korean, I don't want to say compatriot, because compatriot would imply that they're from the same country, which, as you can see from that Scottish flag, they aren't. But having said that, completely needless aside, they are enjoying quite a good rivalry, being the two newcomers, if you will, just before Kano, to Apex Rear Wings Rally Life stages.
Absolutely, both came along during the second and third stages, respectively, of the German, very different countries' stages, and yeah, they've sort of been measuring themselves against each other with their results. So. Securitron, a good 4 or 5 seconds, I think, behind Yorgs in the standings. Speaking of Yorgs, he's starting his run there. So Securitron's going to want to hope that he has a blinder on this particular stage, and that Yorgs potentially actually gets blinded and causes a horrible accident for himself, and as a result has a poor time. That was a long sentence.
As dangerous as driving a rally car along these slippery slopes of Monte Carlo is, it's actually much safer for Yorgs in the cockpit of a rally car than it is back home.
Absolutely, he's been reticent to talk about his home country. I know there is some controversy there. I don't keep up with the news, but I hear that it's not a particularly nice place to live. But
yeah, they get pretty low scores on TripAdvisor.
Yeah, I wouldn't. When I was looking at booking a holiday, and it was up between Hong Kong and North Korea, and I must say that the scores and the experience for North Korea was much lower than that of Hong Kong. Securitron, first one to complete a stage.
Yeah, I didn't much enjoy my holiday in North Korea. Check out cheap was a cardboard cutout.
1:36.6 is Securitron's time.
Yorgs is throwing it out there, isn't he?
Absolutely is. He's flicking the handbrake and getting this car flicked around these corners. It can be beneficial. Oh my goodness, it can be beneficial to get the car a bit sideways around here, but it's also very beneficial to keep it nice and planted so that you don't lose control of it. So he's definitely going on the sharp end of the pointy knife at the moment.
Forgive me, is that a new livery there for Yorgs in the Citroen?
No, that is the Wayland Yutani is the one he's been running for the last couple of stages.
Beg my pardon.
I believe he had a little bit of backlash from his mother nation as a result of his previous livery in the Group A cars, as he goes almost a second down. Over a second down on Securitron.
That's close. That is
half
close.
split. That is close, but it is certainly shaping up the way Securitron would want it to, with Yorgs being slower.
Oh! If you just joined the broadcast, the reason that Goof doesn't have a split on that timing screen there is that he DNF'd before he got to the first split. Very, very unfortunate way for his rally to come to an end. Wasn't particularly going his way, it has to be said.
Absolutely, and he will be getting his time will default to the 15 minutes. I think that that is the time limit given to DNFers. That will hurt. James starting his stage in the bottom right there, but
Decimage, yes.
Decimage, do apologise. Yorgs, however, is getting ever closer to the end of his stage as he disappears into the white vortex, but luckily we've now switched camera angles and we're seeing how perilously close he is to those that fencing on the left-hand side.
Yes, it's a bit like North Korean labour camp in the winter years. When I say years, I of course mean months. Don't know how I got those two mixed up. And 3:04. He's coming towards the end of the stage. Securitron 3:26.6 from memory is the time to beat. So it's looked pretty clean. And he's been aggressive as York, so time will tell. Oh, look at that! It's just beautiful, hanging out that slide. It seems like they're coping with the slippery nature of this more effectively than we were expecting, and he's found time in that final sector 2 seconds faster than Securitron.
Absolutely, Securitron will be gutted about that. Yorg's there securing his place over Securitron in the standings. Remains to be seen if that'll be enough to jump up any more positions. James, now we flick our attention to. Driving style hasn't suited Monte Carlo particularly well, let's say. He tends to be a very aggressive driver, soaring at the wheel.
He likes a handbrake.
He does. He very much does, and potentially not the best thing on very slick surfaces. But he's doing quite well so far. He's managing to keep it on the stage, and we're coming up to the sector split, so we'll get to see how he compares to Securitron and Yorgs here halfway through the stage.
To the drone shot, not much visibility there, as you can see, and the drivers have got more of that flurry of snow to look at. You can see the reflection down there of the ice. That's how slick it is. Oh, that's a big slide. He's lost his rear wing. That's going to cause downforce. So he may even have a right rear puncture from that. Costly mistake from Decimage early on in the stage.
Absolutely, they go. Yeah, he's not going to. Oh, he nearly went nose first into that Armco barrier. Managed to just jink out of the way at the last moment.
That could have been Kubica levels of disastrous.
Absolutely, he is all over the place, but he is going incredibly fast. Still wasn't fast enough to be faster than Securitron through the sector split. We've got Kino starting in his Citroen.
The Russian national anthem.
Absolutely. But Decimage coming up towards the latter half of his stage as we cut to him. Windscreen is smashed.
It was before anyway.
Car was sideways. Oh, okay. So he hasn't necessarily caused more damage to his car, but my goodness, the damage that he's caused to the car is cause for concern.
The posterior of the vehicle got a mighty thwack.
Absolutely did.
Much like, well, never mind. But it's the end of the stage coming up towards for Decimage. I missed the first sector split. Did you see that one, Madbird?
Yeah, he was down on Securitron's time, but as we saw, Securitron can't have had a particularly strong second half of the stage. As he ended up coming home behind Yorgs. It looks as if Decimage, however, is even slower by 5 thousandths of a second. He is slower than Securitron there, or 500ths, do apologise, sliding in with 2.27 seconds behind Yorgs. So
yeah, it wasn't tidy. I don't need Marie Kondo to tell me that. That was a very, very messy run from Decimage.
No, many of those corners would not have sparked joy for Decimage or made him go ting. But Kino, we switch our attention to now in the Sebastian Loeb Citroen C4, which I think we spoke last stage about was a handy pickup for him, having lost the focus to goofball that Stairs was previously in.
They haven't peeled the right rear quarter panel window stickers off though, have they?
No.
They've obviously left them on. They've got a bit of prestige about them, I suppose.
Absolutely. Kino coming up to the half sector split. So you can see the plume of snow coming up behind that car, and he isn't faster than Securitron either. So Securitron with a blistering first half of the stage, and very close there between Kino and Decimage through the split.
Car looks good.
Does. Oh, that looks
good.
Hung that out, managed to keep his rear wing attached to the car, which Decimage obviously didn't do. So that's certainly a positive thing there for Kino.
He doesn't nearly kill himself on the Armco barrier over the bridge as well. It's dangerous the way that starts, actually. It just sort of comes. There's no sort of tapering inwards.
No, it's suddenly there, and it's about about less than half a foot's worth of space to get yourself out of the way of that thing. Madbird.
Nordic competitor starts from Norway, I believe.
Yeah, and from Norway. Starts his stage though from Colbert-Torini, same as everyone.
Oh yes, of course. He's not starting from the country in which he was born.
That would be an
It would
incredible.
give Yorks quite a disadvantage.
Would give Yorks an incredible disadvantage. Although I hear the Trans-Siberian Rally is getting ever more popular. Kino looks like
I don't know why.
looks like a very considered stage for him. Hasn't been particularly leery. He's seems to have been in control of it, and possibly a little bit quicker than the people that have come before Steps.
Possibly. He's got a lot of time to make up. Securitron is about 7 seconds in the end, down on what Securitron managed through the first sector. We saw Yorks got up over him in the end. So time will tell. Oh, that's close. But he's ended up behind all of them.
It's incredibly close. As Madbird kisses the snowbank there, gives it a little love peck. Very close there between second, third, and fourth currently. So Madbird is going to want to hope to slot in ahead of them. He's
mounted the snowbank.
Yeah, it's not clean from the Norwegian. You'd think he'd be used to this sort of surface, but he seems to be a little bit at sea.
Oh goodness.
Again, mounting the snowbank.
Yeah, he's set sail and he is at sea. Very, very much in the thick of the sea.
Definitely, he's
Very small mirrors. I think we have made mention of that in previous broadcasts.
Yeah, I wouldn't think those mirrors would be particularly useful. They're incredibly small there.
Just a touch more useful than an ashtray on a motorcycle.
He's coming up to the sector split. Goes fastest.
Whoa!
7/10ths.
Never mind being at sea, he has somehow found land, and he's gone land ho. And even though he's got a very dented left front headlight, he is making some speed out of that Ford Focus that it didn't appear as though he was managing in the first part of that sector. It looked messy.
It did. Managed to not... Oh, and he's...
Oh no! What's the penalty for?
What's happened? He's got... Okay, so we've got a replay. He's managed to not kill himself on the Arbco, so that's all good. He's going around the right-hand... He's just gone wide, and he's hit a pedestrian. 15-second time penalty there for Madbird. That is...
15-second penalty for every pedestrian that you hit, or sorry, every audience member that you hit.
Yep, so luckily only hit one elderly monogased woman there, so not a huge loss.
Speaking of mono, or words that begin with mono, Mono Man has started his stage.
Fantastic. So Madbird with a 15-second penalty after being fastest through the half split. He's going to be a little bit cross with himself. Let's assume.
That's harsh. I mean, he only just glanced at, and there was a wooden little fence. It wasn't albeit a very strong fence, but there was a piece of wood separating Madbird and the woman. A sentence I didn't expect to be saying at the beginning of this broadcast.
Wood usually separates Madbird from women.
So it was a harsh penalty, I'd say. And of course, well, he's 14.6. That is even more galling. He would have been up. He would have been up on Yorgs without that penalty by 0.4 of a second. How galling!
How absolutely galling. Galling for those
so
playing at home.
galling.
Absolutely galling. Mono, however, is not galled thus far. He's flicking his way through these tight corners.
He's the Roger Federer of not being galled.
He absolutely is. He is a little bit all over the place. He doesn't appear to have a rear wing. And he is mounting the snowbank, managing to keep it on the stage, however, importantly.
That's merely a 50-degree banking. That's all that is, helps him get around the corner quicker.
I'm not sure how smooth that surface is to drive on.
All jokes aside, he has been one of the guys who's really risen to the top in this Monaco rally, and he and Nether have been the ones to give Xerus any sort of pause for thought.
Yeah, they're top three now we're into, Mono, Nether and Xerus. Mono goes second fastest through the sector split behind Madbird. Oh my goodness. That was terrifying and graceful all at the same time. He somehow managed to keep his foot in that.
That made the Blair Witch Project look like a picnic.
Absolutely. Managing to avoid the Armco barrier, managing to not go off where Madbird did. So
Set rims.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, those are some sweet spinners, I believe the kids call them.
Gnarly as, bro.
Absolutely.
Never.
Yeah, starting his stage, the Dutchman. Quite different. I don't know how much ice they get in I was going to say Dutchland, in the Netherlands.
They tend to focus on other drugs like marijuana and stuff like that. Oh, sorry, you're talking about on the road.
Yeah.
They call him the Flying Dutchman, but rally cars tend to drive on the road, so there's not much flying. If we were talking about Red Bull Air Race, that would be very, very poignant.
Could just mean the speed that he takes.
Oh yes, I suppose flying could be used
He's flying through the stage.
hyperbolically, if that's a word.
It
in
could.
in that sense.
Hyperbole. I always thought it was pronounced incorrectly. Mono.
I knew the word hyperbole and hyperbole, but I hadn't put them together.
I'm in a very similar boat to yourself.
Monoman! Oh, it's they're so close.
Oh, that Yorgs has set an incredible time by the looks of it. He has yet to be bested, and we're into the very pointy end here of the competition. Mono almost half a second down on Yorgs. Nether is taking this car to places that I would not expect it to go. He is managing to slide it around these corners almost to perfection. I say that as he mounts the snowbank, but this one here, beautifully done.
It is all good. I just want to play a little game with you here. Just what? Here. And here. That's the first 5 competitors in that little gap between the two utterances of the word here by me just then. That's how close they are.
That is incredibly close. This is probably one of the closer stages we've had in Apex Rear Wing. Nether coming up to this middle sector split, so we'll get to see how he compares. He is faster by a good 2 and a bit seconds over Madbird, so Nether is absolutely on it. Absolutely on it. He's been very close to beating Xerus on the last couple of stages, but hasn't gotten there. He is obviously a Dutchman on a mission.
The unfortunate thing about the times being so close is that the gaps that they have eked out over the previous 2 stages, they're not really going to change. Those positions won't change because they're not gaining enough of an advantage over their competitors for that to be to affect a change of positions. So Nether needs to find 5 seconds on Xerus. That's going to be tough.
That is going to be very tough. Xerus does make mistakes on occasion. We saw in one of the older live stages at Finland, Speak of the Devil, starting his stage there in the plain red Citroen. In Finland, he did go into the audience and lost a good 15 seconds in penalties.
So every mistake is amplified.
Definitely is. Madbird is going to be feeling that with his 14 seconds lost. 15 seconds lost in this stage.
That's just poleaxed him.
Definitely, and Kino was only was about 6/10 down on him at the start of the stage, so that's one position. I don't know how many more positions he's going to lose, but he's not going to be happy about any of them, Stairs, I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, Kino and his illustrious predecessor will be very, very happy with that.
I was worried that he had a first class ticket to the edge of the cliff.
Whoa, look at that! 6.4 seconds!
That
has obliterated the competition.
That is... I know you say that he wasn't a Flying Dutchman, but I must disagree with you. That was a speed worthy of flight and definitely worthy of taking it up to Xerus. I hesitate to say that it's almost a foregone conclusion that Xerus is going to take this one out, but we can definitely hope as Zombie starts playing a video game.
Not that we're playing favourites or anything, but Xerus has looked pretty smooth. This is the KonMari method right there. From Xerus, clean as you like.
Yeah, slow is clean, smooth is slow is clean, and clean is fast, as he likes to say, and he does like to leave a margin for error. I have not seen him touch a snowbank as yet, which would make him the first of our runners not to do so. And just... I don't know if we'd be playing favourites. I think it'd be quite nice to see someone else win. But
oh yes, of course we do like variety. That is true. I do remember the one time where Xerus made a slight mistake, but he still won the stage.
It's a damn shame. He's gone faster than Nether by just over a tenth in the half split.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That was stunning. It was looking like it was going to be a horrible accident.
I'm reminded, Madbird, of that scene in The Simpsons where they're watching an air show and they get disappointed every time there isn't a crash.
Absolutely, it's a lot like that. Watching Xeris, it's just he's infuriatingly amazing at what he does.
It's a good way of talking about it. Let's just leave that sentence hanging in the air for a bit so everyone can absorb it. Like
ideally, let's not.
All right, let's move on. Finished absorbing?
Absorbed like a. I'm trying to think of a kitchen towel.
Sponge?
No, but like, there's those brands.
Oh, Viva.
Viva! Yeah. Absorbed like a Viva, but Xeris nevertheless is coming. Xeris nevertheless, feel free to give us free paper towels. Xeris is coming towards the end of his stage. He's managed to negotiate that little hairpin quite well. It's gonna be. I reckon it's gonna be close.
I can't see anywhere where he's made a mistake though. And
no,
he seems to effortlessly find time where it hasn't looked like he's been that spectacular.
He does, and he's coming towards the end here. It's gonna be really close.
What was it? Oh, Nether's got it by 4.5 of a second. It's not gonna be enough for the entire rally, but he's found a stage, and Nether can be mighty, mighty impressed with that. My goodness gracious me, that was a close finish.
That was incredibly close. Yorg's in third place. He's going to be happy with that. I think his first podium. Mono only a second down. Securitron less than a second. D-Smash 800ths down on Securitron. And as you can see, that has made almost no difference to the standing, except for Madbird, who has tumbled 3 places with that 15-second penalty. So Xeris here is taking out the win in the Rallye Monte Carlo. Nether 4.5 seconds behind, so he did trim that very slightly, and Mono a distant third, 14.5 seconds.
What a costly penalty there for Madbird. If that elderly Monegasque woman had slept in like she always does, then Madbird would have been much further up the standings.
Yeah, and if the crash didn't break her legs, then I hesitate to say that her legs will probably be broken in the very near future by a bat.
There you go. Maybe keep the traction that you're in for later if once you... I don't know if you can reuse plaster. Anyway, we'll move on.
That was the Apex Rear Wing Rallye Monte Carlo. We are off to Greece next.
Whoa.
In Group B cars.
That'll be slippery.
Which, that'll be, that'll be, I don't want to say attritional, but it will certainly be interesting.
It certainly will. We cannot wait to bring all the action of that towards you. That's not usually the way that you would say a sentence like that, but I guess we'll just live with that. Moving on, we've also got more season reviews coming your way, and having finished the Caterham series last week, we have got more live streams coming your way as well, so stay tuned for that. In the meantime, thank you very much indeed for watching. I've been Stairs.
I've been Madbird.
Bye for now.
See you later.